Your early 20s are crazy because, I mean, I moved to New York City right after I turned 18. Um, so I had lived a lot of life when I was 21. I survived 9/11, um,
What
but
do you mean survive 9/11? Were you in the towers?
I was 5 blocks away at my home, at my dorm. And when the evacuation of Lower Manhattan was ordered by the city, NYU was the only. This is like the huge news story that like never was and it needs to be a story. NYU was the only they were the only building in downtown Manhattan that refused to participate in the mandatory evacuation. And they locked us in the building. We were a bunch of
What?
yeah, we were a bunch of 19 to 21-year-olds. I actually recently found
5 blocks away?
yeah, I recently found like however bad you think it was worse. I recently found a video online that I didn't know existed from taken from my building. And again, like you're like these kids are so young. My friends were watching people jump. Like we had a direct view of the towers. My friends were watching people jump. My friends were watching people jump, and like to this day, this is why you want to know why I'm writing about a meet cute and shooting because I had a lot of trauma. To this day, I understand why this happened. They were like 20-year-old kids watching people jump to their death. And we thought we were gonna die. Like, we were like, "This is it." And they got, like, a handle of, like, vodka. The top of the fridge vodka in college, which is, like,
Yes.
the highest quality vodka that you keep for, like, beer
A
pong,
special occasion.
special
Yeah.
occasions, like surviving 9/11, and just, like, poured vodka and, like, everyone, like, drank vodka as they were watching people jump. So, we were trapped in the building as both towers fell, and when the second tower fell, like, seal on our building, because it was a high rise, the seal on the building broke, and, like, I don't know how else to describe it, like, the building flooded with, like, ash and everything, right? And when the first tower went down, the building we thought it was a bombing because I couldn't see what was going on. The building, like, swayed back and forth, and these RAs, these poor RAs who are, like, 20-year-old, 21-year-old kids, um, were left in charge, and so the building had clearly been, like, structurally, like, impacted at that moment, and just started screaming, "Run," and so I ran down, like, 21 floors, and then we walked out all the way to the East Village, or the West Village, and then we couldn't go home for 2 weeks, just have the clothes on our back. And, when we
Where'd you go? Was the door did you go back to your dorm, or was
no,
that
we couldn't.
place
That was
inhabitable?
it was in you couldn't even get to that part of Manhattan, it was closed. And when you got us hotel rooms where they put us like, roomed us with people that we didn't know. I ended up staying with a friend because, like, as you might expect, I just survived this, like, horrific trauma at 21. No really adults there paying any attention at all, and then they're just go in this hotel room and sleep in a room with someone you don't know, and I was like, "I don't think I'm gonna do that." And then they gave us I swear to God, they gave us $200 and said, "Use that," because we had nothing. We had no clothes. I happened to have 2 shirts because I had brought an extra shirt to cover my mouth. That was it.
Great thinking, actually. Yeah.
Um, I mean, I hadn't brought it to wear. Like, we just had to
Yeah.
and so they gave us 200 American dollars. We didn't have our books. We didn't have our backpack. Like, forget clothes. Like, we had nothing, nothing, nothing. And they said, "Take this $200 and buy everything you need." I remember going to H&M and being like, "What do you have for $1?" You want
How did you get a hold of your parents?
I couldn't, I the phone lines went out, so I couldn't, and then eventually I was able to call from a payphone.
You're right. That is the story that never was. That's crazy.
Yeah, they should have been sued into the ground is what should have happened.
Yeah, someone made a very bad call, and somehow
Very bad.
they weren't held accountable.
At one point, I walked up. They were barring the doors with security guards, and I was like, "You need to let us out. Like, there's been an evacuation order." And he said, "All I can tell you is that if you walk out there," he was like, "I'm not gonna physically stop you." Though he was like physically stopping me, right? But he was like, talk about like coercion and intimidation, whatever. He was like, I'm not going to physically stop you, like tiny, tiny 100-pound girl. But I'm going to tell you that if you walk out that door, you will die. And I was like, okay, well, I was just thinking, I guess I won't walk out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking I'd run for safety, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking I would run uptown, but now that you put it that way.
I mean, in the security guard's defense, he's probably just parroting the line that they told him, like,
I mean,
hey, you got to keep these kids safe.
it was
But like,
not the security guard's fault.
someone at the top made a call. And
Right.
thank goodness everyone in that building didn't die.
Correct.